Did you know that driving under the influence of marijuana is illegal? Driving high will get you a DUI. And if you're wondering if law enforcement can tell you're driving high, well, everyone else can. Friends?
I can tell you drove high.
Parents?
I can tell when you drive high.
Relatives?
I can tell. You drove here high, didn't you?
So what makes you think law enforcement can't?
I can tell.
If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Paid for by NHTSA.
College football never stops. When college football news breaks, it breaks on On3. From the transfer portal to the playoff race to coaching changes, the sport is moving every single day. That's why college football fans turn to On3, a trusted authority with real reporters and real communities built around the teams you care about. Find all of your favorite teams and join the community. Get the full picture at on3.com. That's ON and the number 3.com.
AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
Trojan family, what is up? Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to all of you here in the Trojan family. All of you maybe that aren't in the Trojan family, they're just coming in here hatefully, spitefully, whatever. Welcome. Merry Christmas to all. Appreciate you being here. I'm Ryan Dyer. This is the USC LAFB show here on the LAFB network. Hope everyone is doing well, enjoying time with family, friends, whoever you are with. Staying safe if you're here in Los Angeles or just in California, I should say in general. We are dealing with a lot of weather. If you're up in the kind of the high country, record snows. I mean, Mammoth is getting, almost 4 feet already, and they're getting like 3 to 4 inches every hour. If you're in the Southland or, south of the mountains, I should say, or lower in the mountains, heavy rainfall, flooding everywhere. So the scenery of it feels much more Christmassy, I must say. I love the colder weather, the pitter-patter of the rain. But if you have to be out on the roads, be very safe. There is a lot of flooding, so hopefully you're able to just stay home and kind of enjoy it from inside your safe and cozy home. So hope everyone's enjoying it, getting prepped for Santa coming tonight and all those great things. I know my daughters are excited. Well, my one daughter's 5 days old, but my 5-year-old is very excited. So we are thrilled to be celebrating that tomorrow and enjoying it with our family as well. So our best wishes from my family to yours. Merry Christmas to all. But real quickly, I think I'm going to do not real quickly, I guess, but I wanted to jump on here and do a Christmas wish list for the transfer portal. I thought that was fitting. I've done some transfer portal lists kind of every week. Obviously, more and more names continue to enter, and more names will, I guess, announce their intent to enter. Obviously, no one's officially entering it until January 2nd. But more and more will announce their intent to enter. And obviously, as teams get knocked out of the college football playoff, you'll get some premier players probably from some of those still in the playoff right now. So this is an updated rotating list, but this is my newest one, Christmas wish list. And these to me, not adding every single one, but these to me are kind of the highest priorities I would put. And all I did was defensive line and linebacker. Like, they're obviously going to add probably a receiver, like I've said. We will look to see what happens on the offensive line officially when everyone's re-signed or not re-signed, what that looks like when the dust has settled. The secondary will obviously probably have a couple of additions, whether it's for depth, if they believe in the youth they have, or if they do want to have one Bishop Fitzgerald-like guy come over that's played 3 years and come and start and give you production right off the bat. There will be other guys, but I think the biggest priority is the front seven, the D-line, and the linebackers. So my Christmas wish list, I have, what do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 names among those positions that will go over. So drop your comments on any of these guys, how you feel. If there's any I didn't list that are already in the portal, drop the comments there. Let's chat about that. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button while you're here. If you haven't done already, hit that subscribe button. We get daily USC content. I'm trying to do 3 daily videos every single day. Probably not tomorrow, but holidays pending, or non-holidays, I should say, 3 daily videos updating you, keeping you in the loop. So hit that subscribe so you are always in the know, and drop your comments. I'm going to start doing my buddy Gabe Trojan Blade. I'm sure many of you watch his stuff. Great guy, great channel. And a lot of people do this, but I did this when I was doing a live for a little bit, but then we stopped doing the midday lives, but I want to bring it back. Viewer comments and kind of answering those questions. I think so many of you drop so many great comments and questions, and I just don't always have the time to respond to all of them individually. But if I kind of create a show based around those, we can get to a lot more of those. So just know, keep commenting. I see them. I try to respond as much as I can, but those that I don't, I do want to start doing a weekly kind of viewer comment show that I think will be fun. So, all right, let's jump into this. So, number 1 right now, and again, this will change. This is a fluid, as those in the business like to say, a fluid list. But right now, my number 1 kind of target would be linebacker Robert Woodyard Jr. He is a junior currently from Auburn. 6 foot, 241 pounds. You'll see, I stick with my theme. Like, I'm not going to come on here and tell you guys, this is what I think USC is looking for in terms of size and skill set, and then start like listing players that don't fit those names. Then what are we doing here? So I've said all along, I believe, now that doesn't mean they're listening to me. They might still go assign someone, but I've said all along, I believe they're looking for linebackers specifically that are in that 225, 230 plus range. So Robert Woodyard Jr., like I said, 6 foot, 241. So certainly has the flavor profile, if you will, and has the production to go with it. He is actually, right now as it stands, according to Rivals, the number 1 linebacker in the portal. So not going to be cheap. Anytime you're highly rated in the portal, you're going to get the bag. It's the way college football works. That's the way the portal works. Had great production last year, 67 total tackles, 2 sacks, and he will be highly coveted. This is the year, though, with Chad Bowden and his staff, with the NIL opportunities at USC, that I don't think USC will miss out on who they target, on who they truly want. Now, certain players are just not going to want to go to USC. They might, geographically prefer somewhere else. They might want to guarantee a starting spot. That doesn't mean that USC can just say, we want you, we're getting you. But anyone they truly, I think, target and go all in on, they won't miss because of things in the past in terms of NIL and just the money side of it. I truly think there were guys in years past, and I don't have specific details, but there was murmurs around guys like Derek Harmon and some of those big body tackles that maybe USC just kind of got priced out on. And I don't think that happens this year. So if the top ranked player at that position has interest in USC and USC has interest, they will get a deal done. So I should phrase it like that. As long as the player has interest in USC, NIL will not stop USC from getting a deal done for that player to come here. So there is no reason why they should not target, if it fits what they want, the top players at every single position. And as I've said, guys that have had production already, so they can come in and be that same production at a minimum, right? That was the big miss. And don't worry, I'll get back down to the list, but that was the big miss to me in this last portal class, is really outside of Bishop Fitzgerald, you didn't have many guys that had proven production. Now, DJ Harvey was one, and that was just kind of an unfortunate, just didn't translate quite over. I think he was very productive at San Jose State, just maybe didn't quite translate over to the Power 4 level, or maybe there was other stuff behind the scenes. Who knows? That was just kind of the unfortunate one that just didn't work out like everyone kind of thought. But no one else really. Chasen Johnson would have been the next one, but he got hurt. So that wasn't really necessarily a miss. It was just unfortunate he missed the whole season due to injury. But when you look at Ja Jarrett, Keyshawn Silver, you can go down the list of other guys that didn't get hurt. They were kind of like, hey, this is a body type, a skill set, maybe a high recruiting profile, but hadn't done a lot the previous season at least. And so this year, the priority doesn't mean they won't take any guys with projection, but the priority will be guys that have had high-end production just in 2025. So Rob Woodard Jr. certainly fits that. As I mentioned, 67 tackles, 2 sacks, one of their best overall defenders on that Auburn team. Now, it wasn't a very good Auburn team, but, they still have some high-quality players. Still an SEC program. They still get some high-quality recruits and skill players. So Woodard Jr. is a big loss for that program, and he's someone that can come in for USC and compete to start at the backer position from day one. Next. Now, might get some eye rolls on this one, but let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. Kevon Sturman Jr. as well, so going to be a senior, out of Toledo. Now, I know you'll hear Toledo, and there'll probably be some eye rolls, but hear me out. First, let's look at the production. First, look at the size. 6'2", 236. Cool. Fits the flavor profile we want. Production, 93 tackles. Good. 4.5 sacks, 1 fumble recovery.
AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
Drinking and driving is a decision that will change your whole world. Things will never be the same once you get a DUI, because legal fees and time in court are just the beginning. Getting into a crash is another way your world could be irreversibly changed after drinking and driving. Your vehicle may not be the only thing that gets damaged in that crash. You could face a life-altering injury or even death. But you're not the only one who could face those consequences. Your decision to drink and drive could permanently change someone else's world, whether you injure them or leave their loved ones grieving. The next time you're out drinking, call a rideshare, a taxi, a sober friend, or a designated sober driver. Always plan for a safe ride home. The only decision that'll change your world for the better is the decision to call for a sober ride. It's never worth it to drive drunk. Don't risk it. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Very high-end production, almost 100 tackles, and a guy that continually got better year in and year out. So let's talk about the smaller school aspect of this, because there's going to be, and I don't want to say this disrespectfully, but there's going to be the DJ Harveys of the world that have high-end production from small schools, and it just doesn't quite translate. And then there's going to be the other production of guys that were just under-recruited, or maybe they just weren't that good in high school. Maybe they were new to football, or for whatever reason just didn't get recruited from the top programs. So they went to a smaller school, got developed at the smaller school, grew into their body, became a really good player, and now can go on to the next level and be great. Similar to like the JUCO path, like kids that just have to go to JUCO, got no looks from D1 school, go to JUCO, develop, and then come and, Wayman Jordan, obviously, perfect example. Come and be like, okay, yeah, this kid can ball. This is a good football player. This is a highly talented player that can absolutely play with the best in the country. So I don't know if Kevon Sturman will make that transition, but the production, the size merits, I think, a flyer on that. And he is the second ranked backer in the portal. A lot of that's probably based on projection, and we'll see how that transition. But I do think you don't want to go and take 15 guys from, group of 5 or FCS schools, but a couple with the hope of that they can meet that high end. I think that's worth it. Like DJ Harvey, to me, it was unfortunate it didn't work out, but it wasn't like a waste. I think it was worth taking that flyer because it was like, hey, he's a local kid, from Sierra Canyon and, knew Kamari Ramsey and had great production at San Jose State. Let's see if it works. If you're putting all your chips on all guys like that, that's where things can get a little iffy. So Kevon Sturman, I think, is worth the shot for sure. My last backer of the group, and this guy, I know he played in the Big 12, but this guy just feels like a Big 10 linebacker. Like he feels like he would fit in the Big 10, in the middle. Your old school style linebacker in the Big 10, I think, would fit great with USC and could play the position really well. And that's Austin Romaine from Kansas State. also a junior, so going to be a senior. A lot of production over his years, 6'2", 245. Fits the flavor profile we want. When you look at last year's production, 64 tackles, half a sack, 1 fumble recovery, and an interception. Now, he got injured during the season, and after November 1st, the November 1st game, decided to shut it down and have surgery instead of playing through the injury. Now, anyone concerned about the injury, it was a hand injury. I'm not saying that's not significant, but at least it's not a lower body injury, a leg injury, an ACL, something like that. It's a hand injury. You can play, I'm not saying play without a hand, but you know what I'm getting at. As a backer, that'll heal you. You'll be okay. You're not coming back from a torn ACL or something. So his previous season in 24, 96 tackles. So consistent production, consistent elite play, consistent leadership within the defense of his program. Also, the connection with Coach Truman Carroll, USC's strength and conditioning coach, came from Kansas State. Certainly, he knows this guy. If he vouches for him and says, yeah, this is a kid that was in my program, grinding, working, no doubt Truman Carroll will be like, yeah, this kid would fit in great here. Like, we could use that type of leadership, that type of skill set, that type of player in this defense, within this program, for this team, for moving forward. So, Romaine, I think he's top 5 listed linebacker within the portal. I think he would be a really good one. So I don't think you're going to go after all 3. Depending on, we're still waiting on official re-signings from Desmond Stevens and AJ Tuateli. If both of them do re-sign, then you're likely only going to go after 1 portal linebacker. Oh, we're waiting on Tamir Robinson also. So you're waiting on those 3. If all 3 re-sign, you're certainly only going after 1. If 1 or 2 of those 3 re-sign, then maybe you go after 2. And we'll see if they go after any of these 3 high-profile guys. What's going on, LAFB family? Before we get to the show, got to tell you about my friends over at Sleeper, the #1 sports app right now, and not just for season-long fantasy. They have daily game updates. They have a live chat that you can chat with other users. Plus, my favorite part is the daily fantasy feature, which is similar to a pick'em. You just choose 2 or more players across any sport. Choose more or less in whatever sport that may be. So if it's football, more or less touchdowns. For Jaden Mayava, if it's Mekhi Lemon, more or less receptions. If you're looking at the Dodgers, more or less home runs for Shohei Ohtani. Really easy, and you can win real money. Right now, when you go and make your first deposit, make sure you use our promo code. You see it right there on the screen, USC LAFB. That's going to give you a matched deposit bonus up to $100. You put in $100 to play with, you're going to get $100 free on top of that. You can put in 10, you get 10 free. Also, right now, our friends are offering a $20 free entry for any new signups. If you go sign up today, you'll get both those offers. You get $20 right off the bat, free to play with. Plus, use that promo code USCLAFB at sign up, and you'll get that match bonus as well. Go to the App Store, Google Play, download the Sleeper app today, and tell them that the USC LAFB sent you. Now, let's get on to the show. All right, now the defensive line. So those are my 3 backers that are top of mind right now of who's entered. Defensive line. Let's start with maybe one of the bigger names from SEC country. Certainly one that I think when players enter, you can always kind of tell the reaction of the fan base, what they think. Like, for instance, with USC, when Matai entered Tagoe, there was a lot of, what? No, what? Why is he going? What's going on here? What's happened? When Devin Tompkins entered, why? That's a pretty big loss. Mekhi Borio, if I'm saying that right, Mekhi Borio, sophomore from Florida, got a very similar reaction from the Florida fan base. When you get a new head coach, as Florida did, there's going to be a lot of turnover, a lot of players entering, a lot of players coming from the portal. It seemed like he was one that they really hoped would be a stayover, would be a holdover. He ultimately does enter 6'5", 349. So again, certainly has the flavor profile we're looking at on that defensive line. When we're looking at those D tackle spots, I think you're looking for guys 300 plus at this point. You're not looking for tweeners, in those 280, 285, 290. Those are guys you can use as depth pieces, but if you're going to go spend in the portal, you're going to go after the big body, big size guys that has something you can't teach, and then you coach them up on the fundamentals and anything else you need. So I can't remember if I already said his stats. If I did, sorry, I'm going to repeat it, but 20 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 interception last year for Florida. And I think a guy that could come in and whether he's a rotational piece or just starting in the middle right off the bat, I think he could be productive and really good. Former, he was a 3-star recruit, but has certainly grown into his skill set more during his time as Florida and is now the 6th ranked defensive lineman in the transfer portal. So those numbers will grow, like we've been saying, but certainly a guy that I think USC could absolutely target. Like I said earlier, my handwriting sometimes is bad. Kevon Sherman. I think I said Sturman. I think my H here is a little, but linebacker to Toledo is Kevon Sherman. Yeah. Sometimes when you're taking notes and writing things down and you get a little scribbly there. So, all right, sticking now with the defensive line. My next target, and I think this one would be a really good fit. Obviously plays in the Big Ten already, or played in the Big Ten. Plays on the West Coast. And I think when it came out, I think a lot of USC fans were like, ooh, that could be interesting. And that, of course, is Bryce Butler from Washington. Played the last 2 years for Washington, excuse me. He did come from the JUCO ranks before that. You know my affinity for JUCO kids, so he already had the JUCO experience. Now he's had the D1 experience, and now he's going for that kind of final year stamp, whether it's to go play for a natty or just have his best season yet to improve his NFL draft stock. So I think Butler could be a great addition. 6'5", 315, fits the flavor profile. Last season, 19 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 fumble recovery. So I think just his proximity on the West Coast, his experience at all levels, high school, JUCO, and now Washington, kind of check every box that you want when you're going for a transfer portal guy. And obviously the size and production is good enough there to be a guy that, again, can come in with who is already here on the defensive line and rotate, but absolutely I think has the skill set to be like your 3-down interior defensive lineman. He was one of the best defensive linemen on Washington's team, one of the best defensive probably players on Washington teams. So he would be a big, big get, I think, if they were able to pull that off. Next on the list, John Walker, sophomore, UCF, 6'4", 324. Another great body size. 6'4", 324. Bryce Butler was 6'5", 315. Borio was 6'5", 349. All these profiles, these body types are exactly what USC needs to keep adding in order to become dominant in the Big Ten. Again, guys, I don't think scheme is the problem. I don't think the coaching is the problem. They just haven't quite had the upper echelon body type and skill to maximize the highest of their ability. Doesn't mean they haven't gotten kids that have worked their tails off and done everything they can and improved. But when you look at Michigan from 3 years ago or whatever many years when they won, 2 first-round picks in the defensive tackle spot, 300 plus each of them. When you look at Ohio State, look at the dominance on their defensive line. The players do matter. And I'm not saying that at all disrespectfully, but you do have to have some of those top-end guys that can just shut games down, shut running games down. And, we can scheme all you want, coach all you want, and that is a huge part of it. There are some bad coaches out there. USC kind of had one not too long ago in terms of schematics. But that only goes so far. Then it is up to the talent, the drive, the work ethic, the size to then get that done. So I think they have a lot of that on the roster right now. So that's not poo-pooing at all who they have. But some of these additions would just exponentially improve that from now. So John Walker, like I said, is only a sophomore, so still has more eligibility left, has the great size. Last season, 39 tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble. He was a high recruit. He was the 13th ranked defensive lineman in his class. highly recruited, Miami, Florida, Ohio State, Michigan, ultimately went with UCF. He's from the state of Florida, but, a high recruit that's had some production, had some good playing time at UCF, and we'll see if he's a guy that can go to, a bigger program and have some more success. Obviously, we know the connection from UCF with Trevon Reed, with Chasen Johnson coming over from there. So certainly some ties and some, knowing of each other that could potentially, speed this up and make it happen of him ending up here. So John Walker, like that a lot. Any of these three, I think, would be my right now priority targets: Borio, Butler, and Walker. I think any of those three would be great. They would all be fits. They all fit the size. They all fit the eligibility of you have either 1 year left of being dominant or, Walker has a little bit more eligibility. So I like all three of those. The last one is a flyer. All right. This last guy we're talking about, this is purely a flyer. And it's defensive lineman Jaheim Oates. 1 year of eligibility left. 6'5", 325. And I'll just say this, why this hasn't worked out for him are usually red flags that I stay away from. Right. So I'll just give you the background. Highly sought after recruit in his class, 11th ranked defensive lineman. Recruited by everyone. Bama, A&M, Georgia, LSU, Tennessee, go down the list. He's recruited by Bama by Pete Golding, ironically enough, the now head coach of Ole Miss. So we'll see if there's a connection with him trying to go to Ole Miss. But anyway, goes to Bama. This is during the end of Nick Saban's era. Plays 2 years for Nick Saban. 2 quality years. Highly productive years. As a true freshman, 29 tackles and a sack. Sophomore, 26 tackles, half a sack, 2 passes defensed. Good seasons, especially when you know how stacked Bama's defenses were during the Nick Saban era. Like, to get in that rotation and put up those numbers, he was a really good player. Nick Saban retires. Kalen DeBoer gets hired. I don't know all the background, I'll be honest. Haven't looked into it. I don't know if it's a Bear Alexander-like situation. He ends up redshirting that year. Finished with 2 tackles, so he played a game or 2, I would guess. Ends up redshirting. Decides to transfer. So then he transfers to Colorado. He was Colorado's highest-ranked transfer ever. I mean, again, this was one of the top-rated transfer portal guys last offseason. Huge get for Deion Sanders and his staff. Warren Sapp is the D-line coach there. Seen as all right, this is a guy that's going to change this program. Colorado had a ton of hype, but where they really changed, they had the second year was good in their first year in the Big 10 or Big 12, excuse me. So there was a ton of excitement around him. Then there's reports before the season coming out from Colorado beat writers and whatnot, and coming straight from, I think, the coaching staff. We know how kind of that coaching staff operates, very loose of the lips, if you will, that he's lazy. Or he just doesn't want it as bad, or he doesn't work as hard, or the work ethic just isn't there. Doesn't seem to want to be great. I'm kind of just paraphrasing, kind of building it up. That's definitely not a good sign. And then the season kind of backs that up. Finishes with 9 tackles last year. Not a real featured player in that defense. It was a very bad defense. Colorado was just a bad football team. So you would think if he lived up to kind of the talent level he is, he would have at least been the shining star of that team. The defense is bad, but Jaheim Oates he's clearly a star. He has no support, no help, but the dude can play. Didn't really live up to that. So now he's in the portal again. So this is a cautionary tale. And this is not someone that I would push all my chips in. Not someone, if you miss out on Borio, Butler, Walker, or some other names, that this is okay, this is the guy that's going to save us. No. But if you can get an NIL offer that is not crazy expensive, which based on his last 2 years won't be, and you can go bring him into a new situation, new coaching staff. You never know if you can get one of those years where it's like, hey, I just needed a fresh start, needed to get my priorities straight, needed a kick in the pants, whatever it is. And you end up having maybe potentially a Bear Alexander situation. There's always some crazy, there's always back and forth between, fans and media and all this on certain players and who develops who and whatnot. The fact with Bear is he came from Georgia, had a good freshman year, right? Had 2 sacks in the national championship game as a true freshman. Ultimately decides to transfer, comes to USC, has an unbelievable sophomore year. I mean, he was USC's probably best defensive player sophomore year. And then whatever happened in that next season, he ends up deciding to redshirt, ends up going up to Oregon, and now had a really good year with Oregon. Sometimes it's just, depending who the person is, just the change of scenery is what you need. Maybe it's no one's fault. Maybe you're just stuck in a rut, whatever it is. I don't want to pretend to know everyone's backstory and what they're going through. So maybe that could be the case for Otis, guy with super high talent, super high ceiling, lived up to it early on at the premier program in college football, the best coach in college football in Nick Saban in Alabama, and then just hit whatever rut at Colorado. If you can even get 80% of what he was his first 2 years, then that's a pretty solid transfer portal addition. So I say all that to say this is not who I'm saying should be the all-in, eggs in the basket kind of guy. But if you've already added some guys and you're like, we got a few extra spots. If the NIL's right, let's take a flyer. And if it works out, you're geniuses, and you just got the steal of the portal, kind of like Oregon did with Bear, at least how they call it, like that. And if it doesn't work out, well, you got a depth piece, and it was what it was. So that would be my approach with someone like a Jaheim Otis. If he can be like the 3rd or 4th defensive line if they're going to add that many at that position, then I think I would do it. Why not take a flyer? He's got the size, got the pedigree, got the recruiting prowess, just had a bad stop at Colorado. As long as he's not like a locker room issue, which maybe that was an instance at Colorado too. But I mean, that program right now is, I won't get into it. It's an interesting program. And unfortunately, I'm from Colorado, right? I do have some affinity to University of Colorado and Colorado State, just growing up there, family, friends, all go to those schools. So it's, you don't want to see it in disarray, but things are, we'll just say it's interesting. So we'll see. He'll be vetted, talked by the coaching staff. So as long as that's not an issue, then why not give it a shot? So there's my Christmas wish list as of now, Christmas Eve. Fluid. As more players enter, we will do this. We'll do this weekly, really, because there's more and more talent is just going to keep stacking up. It's insane. So, but that'll do it for me for this Christmas Eve edition of the USC LAFB show. I appreciate every one of you. What a year 2025 has been. Incredible year. We've still got plenty more before the year officially wraps up. The bowl game, December 30th, we'll be talking bowl game here soon once we get kind of past the Christmas holiday. Tim, myself, Madman, I'm sure we'll be jumping on, actually previewing the game. We're going to do a live call-in show again here soon once the holidays are past. Today's Wednesday. We usually do it Wednesday night. I'm like, we don't need to do a call-in show on Wednesday evening when everyone's out and about. So that'll be back though. So make sure to stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button if you have not already. Hit the bell for all notifications. And if you'd like to just send us at LAFB a Christmas gift, become a member of the show, help support us. And then you also get merchandise discounts on all of our custom-made merch, get full access to LAFBnetwork.com and all of our message boards that we have over there. So if you'd like to do that, that would help us out. That'd be great. If you don't, just subscribe. That's plenty help right there from the get-go. So appreciate you all, family. Everyone have a very blessed and very Merry Christmas and happy holidays to everyone. We'll be back soon. As always, fight on.
College football never stops. When college football news breaks, it breaks on On3. From the transfer portal to the playoff race to coaching changes, the sport is moving every single day. That's why college football fans turn to On3, a trusted authority with real reporters and real communities built around the teams you care about. Find all of your favorite teams and join the community. Get the full picture at on3.com. That's ON and the number 3.com.
AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
If you're an HVAC technician and a call comes in, Grainger knows that you need a partner that helps you find the right product, fast and hassle-free. And you know that when the first problem of the day is a clanking blower motor, there's no need to break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product details, you're confident you'll soon have everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This just in from future Harris County toll road drivers.
Give the gift of an Easy Tag and give a 10% discount on Harris County tolls.
You can put up to 8 vehicles on one account.
The gift of an Easy Tag works throughout Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Florida, and Colorado.
At Hectra, they're working to keep it moving.
During the holidays or anytime, get your free Easy Tag at hectric.org.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.